Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Janemba fight as part of the Ultimate Red Zone Movie Bosses edition. So this fight is pretty challenging. It starts off pretty strong and then goes into a second phase which gets stronger. Ultimately you shouldn't be fighting the int Janemba for too long. So we're going to talk strategy and team build once this animation finishes. So basically we're going for a Power Beyond Super Saiyan kind of hybrid build. Really solid kind of team choice here. Overall running a Pure Saiyan's lead on my side because I don't have the Power Beyond Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta. If you do have them, then you can sub them in and sub out the Strength Vegeta for pretty much anyone else. I would basically sub in the God Duo if I had them, sub the Strength Vegeta out, and switch AGL Vegeta into the main rotation. I think that's generally at least how I would kind of handle it. In terms of everything else, like I said, for the most part, it was a pretty chilled fight in a sense. Your biggest fear factor is this first tech phase, so trying to not take too much damage here. There's a very high propensity to die in this first phase. That's where the int Vegeta comes in handy, because he's going to tank relatively well, especially once his stacks are built up. Also, it's a great opportunity in this tech phase to let him get hit, so that you can obviously build those stacks that he does need to activate his revive skill, because the revive skill is pretty important. So I highly suggest that you, where possible, let him build up those stacks, really let him kind of get them up, let him build them, let him get them going, and it will help him out. The rest of the team, we've got the AGL Pure Saiyan Vegeta obviously as our lead. He's pretty good. Your main threat is him in this first phase where he's possibly going to take a lot of damage. If you can avoid that type of situation, then you should be more than fine. You shouldn't really have a huge issue as long as you can avoid him dying in the first phase. The tech God Goku, obviously an exceptional unit. Very good. Helps out a lot with a lot of the damage and everything, tanking so well, because he tanks single digits from absolutely everything. So he's a very good, and I think overall he's a pretty solid unit, I would say. So for me, for him, I would say good to go. Then in terms of the rest of the team, we are utilizing the Strength Vegeta. He's okay. Obviously, if his guard doesn't activate, he's going to be left in a pretty bad situation. But his damage is really good, and he's more than fine, because the second phase is kind of like a burst phase. We're prioritizing damage, basically. His propensity to also shoot multiple super attacks helps as well, because it will enable us to trigger the physical Janemba phase, where we're actually a lot safer than during the int phase, due to the amount of tech units that we have. Then we have the Super Gogeta, or the transforming movie Gogeta, the Goku and Vegeta Angel, who both turn into Gogeta. Can take a lot of damage, even with his damage reduction and multiple supers. But the ability to heal, the ability to have foresight, the general decent damage that he does once transformed is going to be very helpful. Same with the physical Gogeta. You want to obviously really try and have the physical Gogeta in the best situation possible. He's going to provide a full heal, which is going to be crucial to how our team runs. You can see we're going to pop a Whis here, and the reason being is we pop a Whis so that obviously Vegeta has a much higher base damage reduction, 50%, now it's immediately 60%, now it's 70%, and with that he's going to be able to tank. Now obviously ideally I didn't want him to tank a super, but it was okay for him to tank the super. You can see we're treading a thin line, but we will be fine. Generally we have the heals here. You want to try and synergize the heals, so you want to heal up from the physical Gogeta when they transform, and then what you want to do is you want to try and retain that health so you can trigger the minor heal from the fusion of the Tech Gogeta. So that's generally your play here. It's really good to get the Vegetas in the first turn actually against Janemba, because if Vegeta has the ability to triple super, which he did, then AGL Vegeta has the ability to triple and quadruple super, which he doesn't. He double supers, which is good. Janemba will switch to physical form after 6 attacks. So hitting Janemba with 6 attacks is good, because it means we remove his int phase entirely in one go. And the reason this is good is we don't spend 2 turns with our tech units facing a int Janemba. Now, int Janemba would rip through Tech Gogeta even with the 40% damage reduction, and so it's way better for us to face the physical version. And that's why it's super important, because this turn we have such little health here that if we didn't have the, if we weren't in the physical phase, it's very likely that Tech Gogeta would still take too much damage. And we're going to transform the Goku and Vegeta. We need the massively raising defense. We're not going to be in the physical phase for long, probably 3 turns at most, and so there's no point for them to stack. The massively raising on their 18 key is going to be more important. The evasion, the crit chance, the increased damage, the active skill also we're going to need. The active skill is going to allow us to do a lot of damage this turn. So it's a very big play that we need to utilize at this point. We're going to use the active skill, then we're going to grab as many green orbs as possible to heal up. We're going to have a Whis still active, and at this point we should be more than fine to tank through the turn. Only reason we die this turn is if Tech Gogeta takes the super attack. If Tech Gogeta takes the super, we are in a little bit of trouble, like a tad trouble, and probably would die because we just don't have enough health. But as long as Tech Vegeta does not take the super, he should tank the normals fine, and we'll get the full heal next turn from physical Gogeta. So overall, it's obviously a pretty good situation to be in. The only real risk is that Tech Vegeta taking the super. It's not really a big issue, though we should be more than fine. And ideally, we'll have the health and the ability to take out Janemba. Now we're going to do a lot of damage with the God Duo here, which is needed. It's definitely needed. The interruption is also pretty good, must admit. Could possibly have prevented the super attack, because he didn't super this turn. So, that might have been the super for all we know. But yeah, basically just very, very solid stuff. And good damage, and it's that good damage that pushes this team through. Without, you really need to take as big a God Duo unit as you can. If you can find 100% one, you need to take it. You need to take whichever one you can. Not only is it for health purposes, but you desperately need that big damage. You need them to be rocking those 8-7 million attack stats. At this point, everything was fine. At this point, our team was running pretty smoothly. I'm not gonna lie. We looked really solid. It was a little bit of a switch up. I had to contemplate whether, using, should I try and trigger Vegeta's revive skill? Should I prioritize just getting the damage out? It's still a little bit risky even at full health, and popping a Whis, it still feels risky. That is genuinely just because of the type disadvantage that Vegeta holds. He's only got 50% damage reduction, so it was kind of like I felt a bit nervy placing Vegeta in that second slot, but genuinely he did quite fine. I was very impressed with Vegeta. He didn't carry the run in any way, shape or form, but the fact that we had the revive, the fact that he did triple crit super, which does help damage wise, and just he handled the Janemba, the Tech Janemba phase pretty well as well. So for me, he did alright. Actually, I was very impressed with how he did, and honestly, I was I was actually really happy with his overall performance. So yeah, for me, I'm actually really happy with that. And I think, you know what, I gotta give him a lot of credit because he still manages to hang in there. Yeah, some events he will let you down, but I think in this event he did a pretty good job. You can see that he took a lot of damage, but overall at the end of the day he did a good job. Physical Vegeta, obviously the heal crucial, but damage pretty good. Did some good damage. Finished off the tech phase, which was great. Got a crit here, got some evasion, and very reliable unit. At this point, it is pretty much sealed up. There's very little chance of us dying here, especially with our Whis still active. Probably, yeah, will have enough damage to finish off Janemba, but there is still a chance. So that's why I decided to keep the Int Vegeta on rotation, because next turn, if need be, we could always sack the turn by letting Vegeta basically just get hammered, and then, yeah, revive and basically have this rotation again. So that is the reasoning behind keeping Int Vegeta on the last rotation. Fortunately, we didn't need it because we managed to get everything we needed this turn. So overall, team ran pretty smoothly. I was actually quite happy with it. I think it's a strong team. I think it does what it needs to get done, and I think for the most part it manages to do the job quite well. I think if I had to change one thing, I would probably just hope that I pull the gods. Basically, no, it was a very good team. I was very happy with their whole performance. Movie Vegeta I would probably switch out with something else, I think, just in another fight possibly. But yeah, overall everything ran smooth and we managed to beat Janemba, and I didn't have to use the Ginyu Force, so there we go. Because everyone keeps mentioning how I only use Ginyu Force, it's because it's my best team, so it's what I gotta get done. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.